let's go ahead and get into it, get into those pitfalls and best practices. So we're going to count down from number 5 to number 1. Number 5 being poor room arrangement. So taking a look at this setup, where are some problem areas here? And of course, if we look at this, we think of, okay, here's the virtual participants. The facilitator has their back to the virtual participants. It's really not a good view for a lot of people in the room to see them. Here we've got a whiteboard that some work is going on. They can't see that. Obviously, we don't have enough room for everybody in the room. So lots of challenges. This is, unfortunately, what a lot of folks encounter when they come to a hybrid training. So what do? Well, pay attention to the room setup. Remember, all the participants, as the facilitator or trainer, all the participants must be in front of you. You have to see everyone. And guess what? The remote participants need to be able to hear and see everyone in the room. And everyone in the room must be able to see and hear the remote participants. So room setup is one of the most crucial things you can do for an effective hybrid training. Pitfall number 4, those audio issues, right? You have one microphone and somebody's on the far end of the room speaking and the virtual people can't hear them, or they're poorly placed microphones and you get that feedback, right? Where you have more than one microphone, they're not set to work together. So what can you do to overcome that? Well, the first thing we say is invest in the tech. Make sure that you've got the right technology. And, folks will say to me, well, Dave, how do I make the case to buy all this expensive equipment? Well, it's not that hard, really. It's not that difficult, really, because the cost of one person flying from another state, staying in a hotel room for a couple of nights, and putting them up room and board, you're going to cover the cost of getting a good microphone, right? So it's an easy case to make. Invest in the tech. There is an ROI there. Have a producer. Have someone who takes care of those technical challenges for you, and somebody who's knowledgeable and knows how to take care of those problems, can troubleshoot them. Have an AV tech. We were talking about before the webinar. If somebody says, Dave, do you want to come and do a hybrid session for us? The first thing I say is, do you have an AV tech? If not, I'm probably not going to come. And then, of course, test it out, right? Test. Get some volunteers to help you test this stuff out to make sure that it's going to work. Get some people to volunteer to be virtual, some people to be in the room, and test those things out. Let's go to pitfall number 3, which is losing the remotes. Often the remote participants are an afterthought. In that photo that we showed you earlier, you can see that there really wasn't a lot of thought going into where are we going to view them from, what are they going to see? And when they're an afterthought, the impact is that they're treated like second-class citizens and they have a second-class experience. And what's the result there? Well, low engagement, low buy-in, and low benefit from their participation. Think about it. If you're in that situation where they're behind you, it's not going to be as likely that you're going to be talking to them and speaking to them, right? If you can't see them face to face. So let's go into those roles that we're going to use. First of all, have a virtual moderator and think about having someone that can keep an eye on the virtual folks. That's their job, to help keep the virtual folks engaged, interactive, to be their voice in the room. That person will interact with the remote participants, assist with the chats, lead remote breakouts as needed. If there's anything that facilitator needs to know about, they'll assist as tech person as well. And we say if you have more than 6 to 8 people, you want to at least have a moderator. And then once you get beyond that, you might want to think about a moderator and a producer. We've done 3 of the pitfalls now. Let's get into pitfall number 2, which is physical miscues. While sending a handout around the table, leader says, oh, I forgot to send this to the remote people. Or you're in breakout. Oh, remote folks, you're saying you can't hear in your breakout session because of all the noise in our room? Or, hey, let's gather around this flip chart. That's not going to work real well for those folks, right? Oops, sorry, virtual folks, you can't see it. Or, oh, let's everybody vote by placing dots on the item you want to vote for on the flip chart here. Oh, I didn't think about how the remote people could do that. So why do these physical miscues happen? Because of our number 1 pitfall. So the main pitfall for hybrid training sessions is just not thinking through the process. That's the main challenge that we have. So let's do a quick recap. We said we had poor room arrangement, was pitfall number 5. Audio echo, the audio problems are number 4. Physical miscues was number 3. Losing the remotes, number 2. And the most common one is just not thinking through the process.